Right, Noah. Lovely morning at your home cricket club, Bradlett. The end of a first professional
Yeah.
season, a debut in all three formats. Just how do you reflect on the breakthrough year?
Yeah, it's a very interesting year. I think going into it at the start, I had sort of aspirations to play all three formats, and then sort of hit a reality check, realising I hadn't played cricket for an entire year um, with an injury. So yeah, I was sort of my first was just to start well in the second team, which lucky enough I did. Played well in a couple of 4-day games, and then sort of before you know it, the T20 block was around the corner, and then yeah, got my opportunity, which was quite surreal, which was nice. Sort of waited for it since I was a little boy. But on first ball to Zach Crawley, so that was quite daunting, realising how big he actually is. But no, that was great. Loved the whole T20 block. Glad to get an opportunity, and they stuck with me, which was nice. So I hope I sort of repaid their rewards. And then I think 50 over was an interesting tournament, and just in general, I think we started off not as well as we wanted, then built some momentum, and then just sort of faltered at the end, which was the most frustrating thing. And then the 4-day stuff, as everyone saw, we just fell short, which for who knows why. But it was to make my debut in both 2 games, one on a very flat pitch in Headingley and one in Derby, which was nice to get my first wicket. So no, overall very pleased.
Sweet. You spoke about initially you started off in the second team. You played, well, you'd say a decent amount of that at the beginning of the year. How was that for your development playing second 11 cricket before going into first team? And also, did you think that you'd get there straight away into first team or break that quickly even?
I think it was a tough one because I think before my injury, when I think maybe 17 or 18, I played a couple second team games, and I hadn't taken a wicket until maybe the very end, and that's when I sort of was like, right, I can do this. When I was a bit younger, and then obviously had a whole season out, and I still very much I think as any cricketer you've got to believe in your own sort of skills. I think coming into this season, I'd worked as hard as I can with Jono and Mertz in the winter, and I think it was just trying to put that all into place to start with, and I felt as though it did. First game was here with the Kookaburra, hadn't really played with that ball, and it was just got to experience what it is, and did well. Got 6 far, and then got 2, which was the most pleasing thing to go back up in the second innings, and then got onto a swinging ball and did well against Kent and Surrey. So that was really nice just to get some wickets again, back being playing, and then had a couple sort of 2 T20s. Just to get back into that, because I think as a team we wanted to do as well as we could in the Blast. And obviously it wasn't to be, but I think we definitely showed again signs of progression. And I think next year could be a pretty good year.
Yeah, so just on that, you said you played quite a few of your games here, not only for your club, but for Middlesex as well. So if we go right back to the beginning, I first met you under 15 game against Essex, a 2-dayer. And it's the first time I'd seen you. Before that, you were at Hearts, I believe, for a bit. But how much of that, or firstly, how much did you play at Hearts? And secondly, how much of getting into Middlesex was because you played here and did really well as a youngster?
Yeah. No, so I started when I was very little. I started at Shenley. I played a couple of years at Shenley, and then sort of thought it was just time with sort of speaking to mum, dad, move on. So I came to Radler. Absolutely, sort of, I love this club to bits. I thought even this season when I haven't been playing, I'll make sure I come down to support, watch my brother play. I think this club has done so much for me. Played all throughout the age groups. Had a really good, helped have a really good team as well, run by a guy called Nick Fielden. So that was really special. And then sort of playing my first team game when I was 15, and that was nice because Josh DeCares was playing. So to sort of see someone who is achieving what you want to achieve, that was really nice. So started off well in the first, and then also whilst that's going on, playing for Hearts, which I played for when I was young, very young, and then up until I reckon maybe 14, maybe when I was year 8 or 9. And no, Hearts are brilliant. I think just for the foundation of what got me to a point where I felt as though I was comfortable enough to be playing and doing well. So, for example, guys called like Ben Waring, Fletch. So a lot of the support network there helped me out. So no, Hearts is really good, and then sort of just building on sort of years just here in the first team with experience like Tom Jenkins as captain, Also made friends for life, sort of people like Randeep, who I've played with for ages now. We're playing golf every week. So that's really nice. And then, I mean, getting into the academy when I first played with you, I think it was a game here, and I remember it very, very clearly. We were playing Welling, and Jamie Hewitt was just here, just happened to be here umpiring with his son. And I remember I was ready to bat.
Was that a school game?
No, club game,
okay.
yeah. So I went to Queen's, and there wasn't much cricket there.
That's a public school? Or?
Yeah, it's not far from here, maybe
Right.
10 minutes. So there wasn't much cricket there, which was a bit of a shame because there actually were really nice facilities for it. But I mean, Queen's were brilliant in terms of just letting me off when it came to it. But yeah, so I was ready to bat in a game here. We had the year before in a final, had a very, very close game, and I think Nick, the coach, was like, "Right, Noz, you're going to bat 11," and I was spitting feathers. I was like, "You can't be doing this." I was down to bat 6, and then he was like, "Our reason is because I want you to go and just show with your bowling because Huey's here, and this is probably a good time to impress." And I think I took 5 wickets for maybe 2 runs, took a screamer, and next thing Huey was speaking to Mark Lane and Rory, and then that's how it came to it. Played first trial game against, I think it was the Rajasthan Royals Academy, which was quite.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was quite. Did well.
We didn't get a second innings in that game.
No, we didn't. Lightning and
Yeah.
thunderstorms. So that was quite funny. And then I got a chance against Essex in a 2-day game, which was good. First sort of proper 2-day game I've ever played. And then play, I think, an inter game squad, and the next thing, into the academy. So that was, really sort of nice way to build up through the age groups.
Pretty cool that. You said you played here with Josh De Cares and your brother. How much did your family have to do with your cricket?
Oh, I mean, immensely. I think dad's a PE teacher, so sport's been in his sort of blood since he was young, and mum's always been very sort of active, sporty. So yeah, they've played a huge part. Dad's sort of helping out with games throughout when I was growing up. Yeah, just literally takes me and my brother everywhere. I think Kobe, my little brother's just sort of last couple of years really starting to enjoy his cricket. So he made his first team debut for Adler maybe back end of last year, and then has played a really good chunk this season. He's done really, really well, which has been nice to see because it also gives me an excuse to come down here, watch Kobe play, but then also sit with the lads and have a chat because I don't see them that often. So they're really, really vital. Mum's, as though she may not know the most about cricket, always is sort of asking questions, and that's what you want from parents, to be sort of involved and keep you going. Which they've definitely been there, and they've been there through tough times, and they've also been there through the really highs, but also to keep me level as well. So yeah, they've been immense, and then even to my grandparents and like cousins and stuff who find ways to come and watch games and always support me, send me a message. So no, they've been vital. Absolutely
Nice.
vital.
And it wasn't always just cricket, was it? I remember you did a lot of swimming when you were younger.
Yes.
You're quite good at that. I thought.
I was all right. Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Yeah. So I mean, it was always cricket and swimming when I was younger, which was hard because you got to balance the two. But I always weirdly was better at swimming when I was sort of in that younger bracket. Sort of maybe when I was 10 or 11. I mean, it is age ago, but I was sort of nationally quite high. So swam, and then in year 7 broke my wrist. So that sort of took me out of cricket and swimming, just as they're both starting to get really good. And then didn't play cricket for maybe a year and a half till I got back. But swimming was the one thing I could do for rehab. So my swimming then took off again. Cricket sort of was faltering, and then sort of COVID hit, and I shot up, got pretty bit quicker, and just my cricket took off. Swimming, still decent, still good at swimming. Sort of was still getting sort of to the regional level, doing quite well. And then just cricket really just took off. Swimming, I think swimming I've always said is the toughest sort of mental sport and physical sport I think there is. Just as how much you have to train every morning, every evening if you want to reach that top level. And I didn't have the desire really to do that, but I still love it. When the Olympics is on, it's my favourite thing to watch. Swimming was a big part of my life and still is.
Just on that mental and physical toughness, the other day I was speaking to a former England footballer, and he said he did a lot of swimming when he was younger, and it built a sort of because you're in the pool on your own in the mornings doing a lot of work, and also the physical side of it, it really helps you, cardiovascular, strength-wise. Do you feel that that's helped your cricket a lot?
Oh, humongous. I think when I was a bit sort of guilty of being a bit lazy when I was younger, and swimming helped me with sort of my running so much. Sort of playing sports through school as well. I think the swimming helped me with that, just to get through sort of when I played football games and stuff like that. So no, swimming's helped me so much. Also built sort of mental toughness as well. Just from swimming up and down, you just sort of try and you almost get lost. You get lost a bit. But yeah, it's helped me a lot. And then I mean it's a shame that I've had to. So I stopped in February. Was my last sort of swimming gala or meet, which was a relay, which was actually nice because we got a bronze medal, which was nice. But I'm hoping potentially maybe in this winter or just sort of after the new year, maybe join back for a month or so. Help my club was Potters Bar, help them out because they've got a sort of a relay, sort of Hertfordshire relay. So may stick them back on for that. But yeah, swimming's helped loads.
Sweet. And also as a fast bowler running up and down, getting to your mark and back, do you feel that your physical abilities have been enhanced by the swimming?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's also one thing I've been very lucky on. I've never actually been that tired when bowling. Maybe sprinting for a ball and then next thing you've got to do it again. But when I've been bowling, I felt as though I've obviously people fatigue and you can see because your speeds and stuff. But I've always found as though I've always still every time I come into bowl, I can give it my 100% and I'm fresh, which is something that I sort of feel is a good strength. And I think that's something that I'll be able to bank on as I go in years because obviously I'm a youngster. I'm not going to be relied on the most. But when I am called upon, I'll be fresh. I'll be ready to go, and I'll give it everything for the team. So it has definitely helped. Keeps me going.
So you broke through relatively young at Middlesex and here as well. So speak to me about how it is as a 15-year-old in a first 11 dressing room playing with the big boys. What does that mean, not only for your development, but how do you find it, as in you're part of your character?
Yeah, it was quite daunting actually. I remember Dad took me to the first game, which we played West Herts. I was
at
bricking
West
it.
Herts, or?
Yeah, at West Herts. So it was an away game. Not really sure where the changing room is. Luckily got there and Jenks, our captain, was there. Gave me sort of a shirt and stuff. And I got in. Everyone was so welcoming. Sort of like, oh, how are you? Because the thing is, I don't know them, but I think they'd have seen me because I'd always be here on a Saturday and stuff. So they would have known of me, and I obviously know exactly who every single one of them was. I was sort of, bricking it. And then I can't actually remember how. I think I tell you what, we bowled first, and it was a bit similar to the Rajasthan game. Lightning and Thunder called it off halfway through, but I got a chance, bowled I think 9 overs, 1 for 30. So I sort of was, that's not bad. Keeper up, sort of little dibbly dobblers swinging them. But it built. Yeah, it was a really good sort of spend because that was sort of the back end of COVID when we just sort of restarted for cricket. So that was a really nice sort of block to go straight into, build that sort of bit, and then almost the next year felt as though I was completely part of the team, and felt as though to try and be as key a player as I could be, because then just as that year started, my Middlesex sort of academy, that's when that started, and yeah, it was helped me out loads.
Middlesex and Radler aren't the only dressing rooms you've been in lately. You've also had a call up to the under-19. So tell me, firstly, how did that opportunity come about? And then secondly, what was it like when you got there?
Yeah, well, I think it was a relief almost, because I think the year before when I had my injury, that was the year that I was going to target and I wanted to play for the England under-19s. Got the injury and it was almost that's a reset. And then started this year well, did well in the T20s, and then I remember I was just sitting on my bed and got a call, and I sort of an unknown number, and I was like, might just put, I don't know if I want to answer this. Luckily I did answer it, and it was the England under-19 selectors saying been selected for the upcoming series in Sri Lanka, and I was like, I was biggest smile, and then so sort of finished the blast off. And then arrived in Loughborough for a sort of 5 or 6 days of training with friendly game. I remember rocking up, sort of first sort of session, got there, open session in the middle of the Loughborough pitch, bowl into, I think it was Kesh, and then Freddie McCann, who was my roommate, who I got on really well, and obviously he's done superbly well since he's started. And I remember got both of them out in the first maybe two or three balls, and I was like, "Whoa, this could be all right." And then they just belted me everywhere after that. But it was an unbelievable experience. It was. I think we all sort of realised what it meant to play, just even if it was 19s for England, because the competitiveness with the Sri Lankans was bonkers. We all wanted to win, and there was no hiding that. And yeah, it was a nice first game to get 3 wickets, and then second game was a tough game. Luckily we won, which was very, very good. Not personally my best game, but I think when you play for your country, the most important thing is winning, and we did. And then I had to come back early for the T20 Blast for the 2 games against Surrey at the Oval, and here against Hampshire, which 2 games couldn't have been like the 2 biggest games of the year. Sadly, both got rained off. So that was pretty...
Proper cricket.
Yeah, proper cricket. But the boys went on to win that series, and then they also went on to win the Test series, which was a real testament, because it was a proper team. And sort of, even the coach stuff, like Michael Yardy was unbelievable. I got on really well with him. Franksy, who was the bowling coach. Graham Swan, who is an unbelievable character. And just sort of, Ian Bell, who was quite reserved, but any time he opened his mouth, you listen. You listen, because he was a genius when he was playing. But it was an unbelievable experience. I loved it so much.
And 2 very important things when you play for England. One is you have to be a golfer, apparently.
Yeah.
And secondly, when you first got that England kit, how long did you wear it before you took it off?
Oh, well, yeah. I did stick it on. I stuck it on, I think, in the hotel room. I think me and Freddie were trying it on, and we just sort of sat there on the bed for a bit. Didn't want to get into it too much, and then it was the first training session when we properly got to wear it. That was nice. And then when we got our caps presented, so that was nice. And yeah, with the golf, I mean, we played around. It was the best round I've played. Got to play with a couple lads, but I think golf is just a social way, isn't it? It's a way of getting away from cricket. Everyone can enjoy. It's social. I mean, it's not enjoying all the time because you have your shots. But no, it was a brilliant time.
Find golf like a nice... I see a lot of cricketers do it nowadays. Is it more of like a relaxed, laid-back kind of thing?
Yeah, I think everyone has their own sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
People will find ways, for example, reading books or just paddle. I think paddle's a massive one that's growing, something that I haven't got into yet. But golf, I think this last year I've tried to kick on and been playing later today. So I think that's something. Yeah, it's a nice thing to do. It's competitive, which I think as sportsmen we still need a bit to be competitive. So yeah, I think golf is good. It's good for the sport, even though some people do get injured.
Have you ever rocked up with your England lid down to nets here just to,
No, I haven't. That England lid is safely sort of just on top of a shelf, sort of with all the balls I've got, sort of not framed, but just on show. I won't be wearing that. But when I wear my Middlesex lid down here though.
Good man. And on the topic of England, obviously having made your professional debut, first couple of games were quite tough, and your profile of being a tall left-arm seamo bowls pretty sharp. The keeper definitely doesn't stand up to you anymore.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Obviously, county performances aren't the same as they used to be. They don't look at that the same way anymore. Does it fill you with hope knowing that your profile is something that they look for, and you never really know how close or far you are from that sort of setup?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting world. I think we're living now with the whole sort of Bazball era. I think I love it because it makes Test cricket sort of interesting again. And I've always loved it. I've always wanted to. I think every kid's dream is to play for England. Whose isn't? And yeah, I think seeing someone like Josh Hull, who I played with growing up a fair bit, and like he's one of the nicest lads. And look, I mean, they thrown him into the deep end at a young age, so why not? I think you don't. I think it's not something that you have to be worrying about or thinking about. I think if it happens, it happens. You just got to do your best. Obviously, being a left arm seamer, it's not a guaranteed, but it's a little Easter egg that you've got that it's just going to sort of help you a bit more. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to play. I'd love to play for England. It'd be special, and who knows how things could go. If I have a decent year this year, or maybe even in 5 or 6 years' time, who knows?
Or you get a good Twitter reel.
Yes, yeah.
That's always.
That's what I was saying. I think, or even how Bash got his England call up. I remember it's so bonkers because he literally a year and a half ago, I remember batting with him, we're playing Surrey, and he came in for training for our academy, and I remember batting with him, and he was almost sort of telling me like, well done, you're surviving, taking the onus. And I was like, who is this guy? Next thing he's playing for England, so I was like, yeah, fair enough, I'll let him off. But yeah, no, who knows? I'm obviously fingers crossed. You never know.
How much do you remember of Bash? Because I spent a brief few sessions with him as well, training, and I remember the amount of dip and bounce he got was crazy. I just couldn't reach the ball.
Well, I think it was when he first joined in. He did really, really well. As in, I think he came in for the 50 over games, and he was maybe took 1 or 2 wickets, went for 40, and that was just simple as that. But lovely, sort of. Obviously, he's humongous. These dippers spinning in, and blokes couldn't play him. So it came to that. We didn't take him onto our academy, which obviously was the decision. We've had sort of bowlers coming through, so that's just the nature of cricket. But then that also opened an opportunity for him at Somerset, where he did really well, got his chance, bowled to Alistair Cook, and the rest is history. So, but he was a lovely guy. I really like Bash. I'm really glad for him. I'm proud of what he's done, because he's torn it up, and then hopefully they go and win again in Pakistan, and he can get some wickets.
Maybe some runs as well.
Maybe some runs, yeah.
So, not only is your skill set something that England would want or countries would want, but also in the franchise world going around, basically every team has a leg spinner and a left arm seamer. So with your winters in England being a lot longer than they are, a lot of the boys in this country, a lot of players, a lot of girls just end up going overseas. Have you thought much about that, what you want from it or how it could help you?
Yeah, I think it's something that I was considering this year, but I think having this my first sort of proper year and being a bowler, I think spending another winter here, just getting into proper good shape, fitness wise, because that's something that I don't sort of go away from, but I can get distracted into doing other things. And I think already I had my time off, and I'm gymming every other day, just trying to keep that ticking, because I want to be in the best possible shape to then, when it comes to season, show what I'm about again. So yeah, it's definitely something that I considered. I think next year will be something that I'll very much be looking at. And then yeah, as you said about franchise stuff, I think that's something that everyone wants to play. And I think it's something, if I can bank on what I've done last year and have a good year this year, I mean, who knows? I think you've seen how many people or what they look for. And it obviously, I think I've got a hope of potentially maybe this year, but you never know. And if I don't, then I'll go back to drawing boards and I work hard again. I think franchise cricket is so good for cricket. It gives people the opportunities to go abroad and experience. For example, like Max, who's a really close mate of mine, goes to play in Dubai and stuff like that, and he comes back and he loves it. The experience, people he plays with, the experience he gains from that. And then you've got likes of Dupper, Lewis Deploy, who goes and smashes it in the SA20 and stuff. So you get the different experiences for different leagues. And then all the lads who have played in the 100 have absolutely loved it. It's brilliant, and that's something that I want to strive and I want to play in.
Nice. Also, for franchise cricket means different things for different people. So it's players who have finished their career or closest to the end of it, like Jason Roy. It's a big financial thing.
Yeah.
And players in the middle of their career, it's experience-based, trying to get form, get back in. But for someone right at the beginning of their career, what sort of things do you aspire to get out of things like franchise? Obviously, there's the financial aspect, there's the development aspect, there's the experience and learning aspect. What kind of stuff do you really want to get out of it?
Well, I think no one will hide away from the financial. I think this is probably the best position cricket's been in terms of money wise. So obviously there's that aspect, but I've always played cricket because I've loved cricket. So to go and gain the experience, to meet sort of the players that can give you the information that you can need, just a little points. For example, if you meet someone who's finished their career, because the coaches nowadays tend to be a lot of ex-players, so the amount of help you can get from that. But yeah, for me, it'd be also just to experience playing in a different country. I think that is a pretty good takeaway, because it might bring you back in better stead when you come back. But yeah, I think the experience is a massive thing. Then obviously, if you do get a bit of extra cash, no one's going to say no to that, because ultimately you're playing cricket for a living. It's your job, so you want to make a living out of it. So yeah, I think experience for me would be the ultimate one, and also gets your name out there, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Especially as a fast bowler, your career's only so long, and you never know when you're in or out of it. So arguably one of the toughest parts of cricket is fast bowling and being an injured fast bowler. How do you physically prepare for it, mentally prepare for it, and also you've already had one major injury or big injury. How do you recover from that and go through that?
Yeah, it was interesting because I'd never sort of missed a lot of cricket through injury. I'd always been in good shape. I think that was from swimming as well. So I've always been in good shape. And then I think it was maybe when I was 17, 18. And I just, over the winter, just sort of had sort of problems with my back. And we were almost like, what do we do? Do we go and scan it? Got it scanned, sort of found out in January that I'd had a stressy. And that was a really tough moment because I'd just sort of got ready for the season. I'd had hopes of in my last year of the academy to play in the 50 over cup, potentially, who knows if I did well, maybe have a chance in the blast or something like that. So that was a really tough year, and then sort of got back, had another scan, said another 6 weeks. So I'd sort of worked my way back to June. So I got to June, being in a position where I could start to play again. And I remember played 2 or 3 games, got back, played a 2s game, bowled 6 overs, and my back just started hurting again. I just got to the point. I think that was a real tough point because I came off the pitch in tears. I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted. And then that was sort of just another block of rehab, just trying to get into the best possible shape. And everything I bowled, the next time I bowled was in September. So it was a really, really long season. But I think having Rich to speak to, who's in terms of psychologically and stuff, was really helpful just to have sort of catch-ups. I think mum, dad, brother, family just there to help me through that. And that was a tough year. Lost a couple pets and lost my grandma as well. So it was a really, really tough year mentally. But I think coming back off that, I think it put me in a good position to be really mentally tough to then attack this season and just put everything into it because, as you said, you don't know how long your career is going to be. You want to make every minute of it. So I think, just keeping gym work going. I think fast bowler's core, and that's something that I've been guilty of, is really important. Getting your core strength, because that sort of can link to everything in your back and everything. And look, if you get injured, you get injured. It's part of it. I think when I played Somerset and I got smacked back on the hand, I thought, God, am I going to be done for another rest of the season? And that was right before the England stuff. So that was really tough. But then, luckily, initially there was nothing wrong with it, but it was still sore for 6 weeks. So you look back, we reckon it was broken a little bit, but I wasn't going to let that stop me because I know how rubbish it is just to sit on the sideline. So yeah, it is tough when you get injured, but I think once you've had it, it makes you appreciate that you've just got to enjoy every second of it and have the best time with some of your best mates.
And just lastly on that, you've done really well to get past your first injury, tough moment at a young part of your career. It's inevitable you'll come across injuries many times throughout your career, and you seem quite as ready as you can be for it, but you never really know. So is it something that you look at knowing that you try your best to avoid it, but it will always be there and you've got to be ready for it?
I think you can't. I don't think you can think too much into it. I think you've just got to attack everything with what you've got. I think if you do pick up a slight niggle, then that's just how it is. I think this year I have been lucky. I haven't had anything too major. I've had the odd injury, like maybe a sore bit, which is only missed a training session. But luckily, I haven't missed a game through injury this year. I think it's something. Yeah, you just got to live every moment. And if you do get injured, and it's just literally part and parcel of it. And you go back, you work hard, and you get back to it. Because as if you sort of dwell on it, going right, it's a fast ball, because you might get lucky. You might go and you might not get injured again. And if you have I don't know how long you play for, then you take that any day of the week. But then when you do get it, you just got to work hard. And I think it's something that, as a fast bowler, I think as a cricketer, you'll know, because batters, they have things like fingers, they get whacked on the fingers all the time. They can have a broken digit. Keepers, the same. And then bowlers, fingers, legs, back. So I think cricket it's a really tough sport, but you just got to try and enjoy every moment of it, I think.
Nice. And lastly, but most importantly, when are you going to become the Hertfordshire Lara?
Well, I mean, I think my batting's always been a work in progress. I think when I was younger, I was actually a very handy batsman. Sort of played for Radlett, did really, really well, and then just went through a phase where I was just bricking it. I didn't any time I bowled a ball with my legs, I was running away. And then sort of worked really, really hard. And I think that's credit to Laney and the academy, because they've helped me. They helped me so much growing up. And I think Laney made a real emphasis on getting my batting up to standard. And it was tough because I think there was one year where I found myself getting out in every possible way. I didn't get out. I got myself out. For example, I left a straight one, missed a full toss, hit a full toss to a fielder, and in your head you're just going, what am I going to do? But then went back to the drawing boards in the winter with Laney, Housey, and just really sort of worked on the basics. And then coming back into the year with my stressy when I was playing as a batsman, it actually, in T20s, I was doing what I love doing, hitting sixes, actually a couple vital knocks. And then towards the back end, played a game for Radlett and then an under-18 game, got 47 in both. And sort of realised then that I was like, oh, I can do this. I've sort of got it back. And then never really look back, just try and keep it as simple as possible. Almost, you see the ball, you hit the ball, and if it's not there, you just leave it. And I think that sort of helped me in the T20s, playing 4 games, not getting out, which I always have on the lads. And yeah, obviously this year against Somerset was the time I got one, and Riley Meredith running and bowling 96 miles an hour, you're like, oh God. But luckily he bowled his 4 overs and then got my chance and put one out the stadium, which was probably one of my top 2 moments of the year, which you never.
Were your eyes open when you swung?
Yeah, so everyone claims my eyes were shut, but they were open because I promise you they were.
Video evidence we've got.
Yeah. So no, that was really nice, and then sort of just want to keep building on it. When I play for Radlett, get a good chance to bat, which I did this year, and then try and work my way up the order as much as I can for Middlesex.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Cheers, mate.